So in today's front-end practice, I have built a simple calculator that could handle basic arithmetic problems like division, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. Now, this is a web page that allows a user select digits and run basic arithmetic problems. So let me show you the HTML code. It's a structure which we have built this calculator, and then I will show you the styles which then makes this web page look really nice and easy to use, and JavaScript that allows us perform this functionality like multiplication and addition. So this is my HTML code, and in my HTML code I have added the meta description encoding chassis, which is the UTF-8, and the viewport to help with responsiveness, and the title of the web page, which is a simple calculator. I also included a link to a styling script. Now, within the styles script, I have written properties of styles that will take effect when the page loads. So, and these properties are targeting elements within the body of this web page. Now, I have used class names, and in some cases, I have used ID to target these elements. Now, using the class selector means you have to add the period before the class name, and then you use your curly brackets, and in there you add properties that you would like to affect of that element. For ID, the selection process is including the hashtag before the ID name of that element. So previous display is an ID of this p tag element, and I can change this to a class name, but I really wanted you to see that you could simply use the ID and the class name to affect tags or elements within your web page. Ideally, you should use class names for styling and use IDs for JavaScript functionalities and maybe form processing. So let's go to the JavaScript and touch a little on what we did in order to have our calculator functioning properly. So in my JavaScript, which is the script here that I've added at the end of the body, I could still put this tag up top within the head and it will work the same way. Down here below ensures that when this web page loads from head down to body, all of the elements or needed tags are available. So in my JavaScript code, I have written three functions, right? So I have the calculate function, which is fired off when the user clicks on the equal to sign, and the clear display, which fires off when the user clicks on the C, which is the initials for clear, and append value, which simply appends values when the user clicks on these buttons. So remember, you can clear the display, and clicking on 7 will display 7, clicking on 8 will display 8, and when you click on the multiplication sign, it then displays that, and click on equal to, your function calculate fires off. So let's start with the append value, and as you can see, append value has an argument that I've passed into the function. So the function append value always has an argument that is being passed into that function, and the argument is this value here. So when the user clicks 7, I pass the integer 7 to append value, and when the user clicks on the divide, I pass the division symbol in JavaScript to our function, and using the plus equal to simply appends the value that is being passed when the user clicks the function. It could be 7, 8, division, and I've passed that value and assigned the display, which is this element here. to display that value. And the appendValue function receives an argument which is these digits or mathematical symbols. Now, when the user clicks declare display, we then target the display element and we want to set this value to empty. We also want to set the previous display, which shows the arithmetic evaluation that has just been performed for the user. We also want to set this inner text to nothing. So once the user clears this display, all of these values will have empty values. So now, when the user has imputed those values, the digits or the arithmetic symbol, and they click on the equal to, then our function calculate fires off. And in the function, what we want to do is to display the arithmetic expression of that equation. So the eval function is an inbuilt function that takes in mathematical expressions and provides a result for that expression or evaluation. So now that I've passed in our display value, which has the value of whatever symbol or integer that the user has clicked on, we then want to run our function called eval that then performs that mathematical expression and return whatever result to our display.value, hence making the display.value show the answer. Now, if this try section does not work within our code, then we want to display the error message saying we were not able to perform such actions. So just like how I said, when the user clicks on the number 2, our appendValue function has fired off and it has immediately retrieved the integer number 2 and displayed it in our display tag here. And when the user clicks 3 and so on and so on, and click on the division symbol, you click on a number to divide by, now you have your answer, and this shows you the expression of the mathematical operation that just happened. Now, when a user tries a mathematical expression that isn't possible, like 210 divided by a decimal point, as you can see, you have an error. So I've made a simple table to highlight how our code works so it's easy to understand. So the number buttons represent the digits that we want the user to click in order to have their expression calculated. The operator buttons, the number buttons, the equal to buttons, when they click on these buttons, we have specific functions that are called upon or invoked when they click on these buttons. And the number buttons and the operator buttons have a function that we've called append values, because these are the values we're going to be using to generate our expression or equation. The equal to button has the calculate function. So when the user clicks on the equal to button, we then want to grab that expression that we have gotten from our append value function, and we want to grab that expression and run a function called eval. Now, the eval function in JavaScript is an inbuilt function that takes in a mathematical expression and provides a result. When the user clicks on the clear button, we then want to reset the screen, which will automatically reset the display and reset the function. That way, the user can start a new operation. The output screen simply displays the result, and it also displays the values that are being appended to your operation. So key takeaway from this is front end only runs project in the browser, and we didn't use any server-side coding language. We performed our arithmetic operations using simple JavaScript and basic CSS and HTML. You can build interactive tools similar to a a calculator using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So front end simply covers user experience, layouts, and basic logic using the browser.